New at 4, a Lincoln County man could be going to jail for up to a year for something he sold on eBay. He pleaded guilty in court to selling a government-owned form signed by a celebrity.
75-year-old Alan Nordman admitted that he unlawfully sold on eBay an official Customs and Border Declaration form signed by late pop star Michael Jackson upon his entry into the country. Now, the document, which lists items a person brings with them into the country, sold for $795. Nordman was released on bond following a plea hearing, and he faces a sentence of up to 1 year in prison and a $100,000 fine. Let's go ahead and bring in Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rose to this conversation now.
All right, so this is a little obscure, Khalif. What's exactly the law dictating here when it comes to selling government records if the Fed claims that it belongs to them, not the guy who sold it?
Michael Jackson.
You hit
Yeah.
right. It doesn't even belong to him.
Yeah.
If it's a government document that he turned in at the time of entering the country, it belongs to the government. And so I think we are in an era now that we clearly recognize that government's important on keeping track of government documents. We can point to the former president's current situation that he's facing within the crosshairs of Jack Smith. Document retention, document preservation is extremely important to the government. And so this guy worked for the government for 30 plus years. And he's in the same age bracket as the former president. President Trump, 77, he's 75. I don't think age has a limit in terms of this type of law. They want to make sure that people understand that you can't just take documents specifically if you are the person that's in control of the documents. So there's about 5 or 6 different statutes that they could have went after him on. This one was one where it was an attempt to convey it for gain. And so that's where they got him. The problem that I have is that you're talking about $790 is all he got, and he could be potentially facing a $100,000 fine.
There is that story,
Yeah.
too.
So there's he didn't get a good return on his investment. I mean, if you're going to go after, at least he sell it for a couple million to have the potential to have a $100,000 fine.
Yeah, you're talking about Michael Jackson, but why there's a lot of buyers that are out there. Why is the seller being punished and not the buyer on this?
Well, because the law that they went after is not for the retention of the document or the actual ownership of the document. It's the actual selling of the document that was problematic here. And it was because he was a person that was entrusted in keeping the document. So that's why I said they didn't list it in their announcement, the specific statute that they charged him with. It was just stated that it was the conveyance of a government document. So that actual selling of it is what they went after him for. But like I mentioned, they could have went after him for 4 or 5 other different types of statutes. And to your point, the seller could, because they are actually now in possession of a document they don't have a right, lawful possession to have.
Well, finally, you mentioned the fine there, right? But what about any jail time? We know it could come to jail time, but do you think he'll actually serve it?
I highly doubt it. I mean, he entered a plea. He admitted what he did was wrong. I mean, something like this. It doesn't list his criminal history, but a person that's 75 years old for a crime like this, that is, I mean, I won't say it's a victimless crime, but I think the judge would really consider the age of the victim, the age of the defendant, and the likelihood of him committing some other crime is the things that he would consider when sentencing. Sentencing hasn't already been scheduled either, and so I think that it would for sure be something that's a probation at the very minimum.
All right, very good stuff. And a good talker of all things. All right, Khalif Rose,
Something
thank
to
you.
note.
Chief Legal Analyst for us here at Queen City News.
Tara?